I am so excited to introduce our next guest. Having broken boundaries as a black woman in business, Celina Caesar-Chevannes goes into politics to help make a difference in the world, but finds out that Ottawa was not designed for someone like her. In her memoir, Can You Hear Me Now?, she digs deep and shows us that effective and humane leaders grow as much from their mistakes and their vulnerabilities as from their strengths. Welcome, Celina. Good to see you.
So great to be with you this morning, Tracy.
You write about forging university transcripts to your parents. You write about depression, having an abortion, being put on academic probation in university, having an affair. I mean, did you have regrets or moments of panic after this book was published?
You know, I would be lying if I said I didn't. Of course, when you put all of your heart and soul on the pages of a book on black and white for everybody to read, of course, there was some trepidation. But Tracy, in this Instagram-filled world, filtered world that we live in, I think sometimes we just need to strip down and just say, this is who we are. We've all made mistakes. We've all dusted ourselves off, got back up again, and walked strong in our mistakes, in our strength, in our flaws, and in our power. So that's what I wanted to do with this book.
You were very real about your experience in Ottawa, and you were the victim of so many microaggressions there while an MP, including security stopping your black guests from getting through certain entry points in the building, being ignored or sidelined during a particularly cringe-worthy Canadian delegation to Washington. I mean, those stories, they hit. So I want to know from your perspective, how far is our political system from truly embracing inclusivity?
Well, as long as we keep saying that diversity is our strength, we will never get to what actually is the strength in our democracy. And that is moving towards inclusion and then moving towards equity. It's about using or leveraging that diversity to connect with each other, to build empathy, and to start to really put together programs and policies that create equity, especially for groups that are most vulnerable and need it the most.
Based on what you've been through, would you still recommend for young black women or young people of color to try and forge that path into politics?
Absolutely, Tracy, I would. And even in my resignation letter, I stated that people should run. I feel guilty about asking, but they should run, but run in packs. We see how the squad in the United States, whether you like them or not, is irrelevant, but they support each other. They have each other's backs. And I think that's what's necessary, required.
I want to hit that point in the book that I know a lot of different media organizations are asking you about, and that was you contacting the PMO the same day Jody Wilson-Raybould resigned from cabinet to say you wouldn't be running again. Prime Minister Trudeau called you that night and lost it. According to your account, he went full-on rant, saying you should be grateful for his support, that he was tired of hearing about his privilege. Then you went off in an expletive-filled retort, got a tearful apology, and went bloop and hung up on him. So in your opinion, what don't Canadians know about the man who's running the country?
It was always about what would impact him. So the first thing he said was, well, you can't make this announcement today because I can't have two powerful women of color leave my caucus at the same time. And I really believe, again, when we speak about humanity and empathy, that has been lost, especially in the transaction with me, with our current Prime Minister.
Do you feel heard now, Celina? You know, the book is called Can You Hear Me Now? Do we hear you now? Are we hearing you?
I want people to not just hear me, but I want them to think about how their relationships could be different, how systems could be different, how organizations can be different, and most importantly, how we could be different for ourselves. I use a line in the book that says that we are too busy showing off to our neighbors instead of showing up for them. And I hope that this book is a really talking point and allows people to build those relationships that tie back or reframe some of that frayed humanity that's been lost in the divisiveness of the last few years.
Thank you so much for joining us on Cityline, Celina.
Thank you so much, and thank you to your viewers. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you. Her memoir, Can You Hear Me Now?, is out everywhere right now. Read the